Oh, hello there. We didn't see you there. My friend Parker and I were just hanging out at the tavern, before D&D starts, and we figured we'd read some horror stories from other people that play D&D. And oh boy, we have some fun ones today. First off, Parker, tell them who you are and where to find you.
Hi, my name is Parker, or Parker Bliss all over the internet. I am a cosplayer, TTRPG enthusiast, and vocalist. You can find me cosplaying all my favorite characters. That's what I do.
And also, you can find her on my channel
That's true.
in Dragon Age Call of the Hewn and Dragon Age the Wolfguard as Miralyn, our least traumatized being. Totally.
For sure.
For
I
sure.
definitely didn't die.
All right, so this first one is the sin of this one is there's lack of context. I pre-read this one. I haven't pre-read any of the other ones.
Okay.
My husband's D&D group has played together religiously for the past 20 years.
Congrats.
I told him last week that it was time to give up his game and put the same amount of commitment and time into our marriage. So either of these people could be the bad guy here.
That's true.
Let's see what else. After all, 3 of the 7 group members, including myself, have been playing since middle school. So pretty much over 30 years. That is a long ass time to be playing D&D together.
That's like a very established group. Also, she's including herself in that. She said including me.
Including himself.
Him, okay.
Including him, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're playing since middle school, it's kind of hard to break that up just because I want to spend more time together. Like, there's got to be a middle ground of, like, you can still play D&D.
Did she give the ultimatum of not playing at all, or telling him that he has to invest the same amount of time into their relationship?
Let's see. It's been going on long enough that he needs to leave the group, okay, and to spend more time with me. He looked at me very sternly and said, "You know what? You're beginning to sound like my ex-wife." Whew!
I'm guessing he hasn't been married before, and that's like him telling her that they're gonna get divorced. I will say I don't think I would have jumped directly to divorce. Without context, it's hard, but
it's hard to tell if he was like saying that like as a joke because maybe he thought she wasn't being super serious. But at the same time, don't make that joke.
Well,
that's
also,
a bad joke.
You obviously started, like, you guys haven't been together since middle school, and this group has. So you started dating this man and married this man, knowing that this was like a commitment and a thing that he did. So now to turn around and be like, you have to change, weird ultimatum.
Yeah,
I can get being like, hey, I feel like you're not investing as much time into our relationship as you are into the D&D game, but that like just sounds like they need to go to couples counseling. Not cut off his like very prominent
his core
hobby.
Friend group, and his friend group.
Yeah, like maybe that's the only time that they can get together is like for this one established thing, and he never sees his friends otherwise.
Like, I can speak from experience that like there have been times where like my only form of like socializing with anybody was D&D because we were adults with busy schedules,
sure.
And it's hard to get together. So when we do get together, we want to play D&D.
That's why the BBG of D&D is scheduling joke works so well, is because like it legitimately is.
Yeah. Continue.
30 years is crazy.
Yeah. Continuingly, I was immediately pissed. I was also in shock. I said, "What the hell do you mean I sounded like your ex-wife? We've been together for over 20 years. You never told me you'd been married before." So she's been around for 20 years of this. 20 years of the game.
Yeah.
So after 20 years of him playing D&D, you're now suddenly...
Maybe she's feeling upset because she also didn't get invited into it. Like, that's like a really cut-off hobby. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense.
Yeah. He stopped walking away from me, turned around and said, "I wasn't. You're my first wife." Note, the group amount and time played is 100% accurate. The rest is just a joke. I could never see myself actually expecting him to walk away from this group of men who had become our family. Besides the fact that 2 of them are our own adult sons. Hope you got a chuckle out of it nonetheless.
It's a rage bait.
It was a rage bait. Damn, we got baited. We got baited, Parker.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I wasn't like upset. I, as a woman, immediately was like, "What have you done?" Like,
I was also I've known a lot of shitty nerdy men, so I'm like, what did you do to make her go, okay, no more D&D?
Right. Oh my god, that's funny. Also, having 2 of the players be their adult sons is very funny.
That's I bet he's the GM. Mm-hmm. That's probably the funniest part. But like,
probably is.
That was good. You know what? That was a very good rage bait. I was very interested in the story, and I was like, this seems like a lot. And then
well
she's like,
written.
haha, gotcha, bitch.
It's well written. It's good.
It was a very well written rage bait. All right, so that last story was a little So we're if you saw a cut, I had to go be a dad for a second, and also the story, it was just kind of. So we're gonna move on to another one that seems a little bit juicier. My dad is a player in a game I run, and he is becoming a problem. So DMing for your parents can be fun. I've run a few games for my mom before, even my grandmother,
Oh.
and you've said you've run games for your dad.
Yeah, my dad's how I got into D&D. I have his original first edition D&D books, and I ran a game for him a couple years ago on Christmas break. And he played a dad joke character that was a dwarf named Armormore, which was a joke on the elf called Legolas.
That is pretty funny.
So it can be fun.
My uncle is who I got into D&D. He gave me all my third edition books, which are up there, and his recurring character was Delson, but the ladies call him the Big D.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can tell he's a Gen X man.
There are a lot of there's indicators on people with how they name characters.
He only played joke characters, which
Yep.
was like, you know what, have fun, man.
Why not?
But let's see how this story gets bad. So some context. I'm running a game that is a homebrew campaign that is a sequel campaign to one my brother DM'd for us.
Oh.
He had invited me and my dad to join the party that consisted of my brother's wife and another married couple they were friends with. We all live states apart, but the miracle of video calling, we run the game online. Great, awesome. Online D&D can be so good.
Mhm.
It has its problems for sure. Personally, even though I run so many games online, nothing beats just sitting at a table with friends in person. But online games can be awesome if you have no other option, and some people prefer online because they're introverts.
Yeah, I loved it during quarantine. I played so much D&D.
That's when I got kind of started too. But I had like a core friend group who we were all around each other anyway. So I just like, hey, let's play D&D, and we just all started playing at my house because they were all already there anyway.
That's fair. Everybody had their like pod of people they were allowed to see.
That campaign was the first game of D&D either my dad or myself had ever played, and I fell in love with it. My brother asked if I could DM the next one so he could experience being a player alongside his wife, and I was more than happy to do so.
Cute.
So Forever GM stepping down. So this GM is a brand new GM. Okay, so let's see. It's going to be interesting. Sometimes I see stories like this, and I'm like, a lot of this comes down to you as a new GM not being willing to, like...
There's a flexibility to like knowing
Yeah.
that the story can go different ways in different places.
Damn ads. I'm leaving this in. You'll have to suffer with me.
Our tavern is gone.
Our tavern's gone. Oh no, we're at Lowe's.
Oh no.
My wife will be happy. She loves Lowe's. Garden department.
That's definitely tavern.
Okay. All right. So now my dad has had difficulty learning the rules and has a hard time not constantly metagaming. That's something I've noticed with new players is like they just try to think of it like rules,
Yeah.
and they get too into like the rules, and they're like, well, a troll, you can kill it with fire. It's like, okay, but does your character know that?
Yeah, that's fair.
But we cut him some slack that his first campaign, and we were patient with him.
Mm-hmm.
When my dad would pop into conversations he would never be aware of or interject. When my dad would pop into conversations he would never be aware of or interject to help despite being rooms away, my brother would politely but firmly remind him of where his character was, or that this was all happening in X character's mind or something. Okay, so it was one of those like he would intrude on other characters' moments. Just
which when you're new, that can also be like overexcitement, wanting to be like interested. Like there's definitely ways that like other people at the table can help you understand or make you aware that you're doing other things.
It's also some things we don't know, like was the GM giving the dad's character enough room for him to have special moments?
Sure.
And sometimes players feel like they're not getting enough like screen time, for lack of a better word, and they get frustrated. Eventually, when the new campaign started and we had a session 0 right after the ending of the last one, everyone was on board to jump right into the next one. My dad said he'd be happy to play if we wanted him to, and after a whole campaign with him, it would have been a little awkward to tell our dad, no, sorry, you are uninvited to join the next one. So I said he was welcome to join.
Okay.
So far, he doesn't seem too bad. It's just like a little just metagaming for the most part.
Yeah, and that's an experience thing.
And also just dad things of not knowing when to stop.
Rules and where, yeah.
He now has only gotten bolder because he has a hang of it. Oh no.
Okay.
Which is far from true.
Oh no. Okay.
He decided to play as a gnome armor artificer. Oh my god, your second character is an artificer?
I mean...
Oh, that's a complicated class
Well,
for a second-time player.
yeah, I guess. I think that you should always play like what you want to play.
True, and
But
good,
like
but
that,
also with a brand new GM
that
who's
is
never
like
GM'd before.
that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, like I will say, if I had an artificer in my party the first campaign I ever GM'd, I would have been like, I don't know if you can do that. I have to read the book because it's artificer is a somewhat complicated class. I usually recommend people play that when their GM knows what they're doing and knows how artificers
Artificer and
work.
Blood Hunter.
Blood Hunter was the one that was like easier for me. I researched it so much because my sister wanted to play it so bad,
Sure.
and then halfway through she was like, "I'm not having fun. Can I switch to Paladin?" And I
That
was like,
happens a lot with Blood Hunters.
because she picked the one that was like all of the potions because she
Mhm.
actually wanted to be a Witcher, and I'm like, you picked the worst one.
Here's a Witcher RPG, guys.
Yeah. uh, he's sorry. He decided to play as a gnome artificer, and he wanted to be useful and utilitarian as
That's
possible. He also wanted this character to have major rage issues as part of his backstory. An artificer with the personality of a barbarian.
Got it. Okay.
We are currently a full year into this campaign. Okay, so it must be going
Okay.
okay, and his metagaming never stops.
Okay.
He's constantly rolling over and over when he fails any sort of ability check to save, or save outside of combat so he can say, finally, I break out of X condition.
Okay, so like we don't know how the rules work then.
Yeah, that's also a little bit on OP.
Yeah, that's on the DM to be like, it's not your turn to roll out of that. You do it at the beginning of your turn,
It's like,
or
hey,
you do it at the end of your turn, depending on what you're getting out of.
Like, hey, we're in the middle of combat. You have to roll, or even out of combat. It's like, hey, you tried to roll once. I'm not going to let you just keep rolling over and over. We're going to go to other people and let them do their stuff. And when we come back to you, you can try to roll again.
Give your dad Baldur's Gate 3 so he learns how combat turn order works.
Getting a boomer dad to play video games, though.
My dad would love it.
Your dad is a rare dad. Even my dad, who loves nerd stuff, I can't get him to play anything but Madden.
I really want him to play Baldur's Gate 3, or I think he'd like Divinity 2 Original Sin.
My dad plays Dynasty War. My dad is good as long as he can mash buttons.
Love it.
Finally, break out of X condition and I immediately do blank. When one player was affected by the dream spell while in a separate room, he says that his character just so happens to drop by and wanted to have a late night chat.
That's hard.
Because that is metagamey, but he's also doing it in character, so that's a weird middle ground where you have
to justify your choice.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to be like, why?
Why would your character suddenly...
now? Like...
Now, if there was something that happened earlier that day that, like, his character was like, I want to talk to them about this because this bothered me, or I'm worried about them.
Or if you've told your DM before that you wanted to have that conversation, that can be set up.
Or if the GM gives you that setup, like we've had in the Dragon Age game, where it's like, oh, Mirlin's dealing with this, and then, like, one of the other players, I'm not going to say what the situation was, a DM messaged me, was like, hey, I feel like Amaris would feel something is off. Is it okay if Amara? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Well, and I think that's why you ask permission for, like, roles that deal with observation, too, where it's like, would my character realistically notice that anything was wrong?
This is a case of players respect your GM and, like, ask them before you do stuff. And GMs, sometimes you have to be assertive.
Yeah.
But I also know this is a really awkward situation because it's his dad.
Yeah, it's an older, like, usually authority figure in your life, and that could be hard.
And it is hard to, like, tell your dad what to do. Like, it's easy for me now because, like,
I'm a middle child.
Yeah,
and the youngest daughter.
So, I'm also a middle child, but
no.
I'm a middle child and a youngest son. So, like, I just tell my dad all the time, like, it's fucking stupid. But, like, me and my dad have that kind of relationship they might not have. He might still look at his dad as, like, he's in charge, even though they're clearly all adults.
Where are they playing, I wonder? I wonder if they're in their dad's
house. I think they said virtual.
Okay, yes, you're right. It is virtual. Okay.
Which is also kind of weird. Like, his dad's in the same house as him, though, he said. So it's like...
That's weirder.
Yeah. 3 sessions ago, I decided to give his character the spotlight and that he apparently has been craving.
Okay.
The party was facing a remnant of a dead god of war and destruction who was seeking to possess a new physical vessel. Oh, lovely. My dad's character, in his hulking dreadnought armor and anger issues, was a perfect candidate.
For sure.
That's actually a pretty good job from the GM.
Yeah, that's a good lore bit. Like, you wanted this character. I push the big red button when I touch elven artifacts that I'm not supposed to. And I knew that I was going to do that.
Honestly, great job, OP's part. This is a great thing for GMing. I had him do had a battle of the minds type of thing, thinking my dad would really lean into this role play
Okay.
with his character relatively untouched anger, with his character's relatively untouched anger issues.
Got it.
Nope.
Oh.
As this deity tries to corrupt him and tempt him, he responds with, "Sorry, big fella, but I am as cool as a cucumber. I have been dealing with my anger for so long, I am able to control it like any other part of me."
Okay, so he did a Hulk Marvel I'm always angry moment a little bit.
I guess.
But also, okay, so that's my thing too. They said they're a year into this new campaign, but in game that could be like 3 weeks. Like in game, how long have you been dealing with this anger? If it was such a pivotal point for your character, unless you've had moments that you can look back on and be like, these were me dealing with these things, I don't feel like that becomes justified. I feel like that's a weird thing to do, and as a DM, I probably would be like, okay,
I
let's
would
roll.
be I would be so I'd be pretty mad at that point. I'd be like, your character does not have control over his anger issues. We haven't dealt with that in game.
As per last session, it feels very like you've just now decided a thing. I think that at that point, if you don't want to be confrontational with them as like yourself, you get to be like, okay, well, you're gonna roll for it. Like you're gonna roll for it, and you'll roll with disadvantage on something if these are the things that you have done in the past.
Speaking of disadvantage, also this next part is a bad move on OP's part as a GM.
No.
He even asked if he could roll his wisdom save at advantage.
Advantage.
I denied the advantage, but
Okay.
he still rolled high enough to make the save. How in the hell?
How did you set the
is
save?
This artificer who probably doesn't have crazy high wisdom because their chief stat is intelligence?
Yeah.
I mean, his wisdom could be high. Who knows?
Yeah.
How is he able, unless he's like level 18 higher or higher, able to withstand a god?
Yeah, that feels very.
That feels like one of those things you should even be like, you can roll, but no, like if you want to. But like as the GM, you should be like, there is no roll here technically because of the fact this is a god.
Yeah.
This is a god. You cannot stop this god from taking over your mind.
Yeah, I don't, because then the stakes are weird, right? If you can just say no to a god.
If you just be like, literally saying,
sorry, buddy.
Sorry, big fella.
Feels like that's rough, buddy. Like, what?
And after feeling like I got caught unprepared, I decided the adult thing and talk with him about how he wants to play his character.
Sure.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, surely this is just a matter of miscommunication about what his player fantasy is, right?
Yeah.
He said his rage was touched on so little in the campaign, he was just going to act like it didn't really matter. Okay, cool. I will go forward with that in mind. That was a diss to you. That was your dad going.
It was.
I thought this one had no ads, but whatever. It's fine. It's only like every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The fact that it was his dad going, hey, fuck you, you haven't touched on my character, and it's like...
Well, and also it is not entirely up to the DM to touch on things in your backstory and your character. You need to bring those things into conversations with other people. The last time that you had...
NPCs or other players.
You've been in this game for a year, right? Like, you had, I'm sure, ample opportunities to have, like, an anger issue when there were other battles, there were other hard conversations with party members. Like, there were opportunities for you to take that role play aspect and make it part of your character. Like, no, it's not the DM's entire job to facilitate every little thing in your backstory. You have to bring that into conversations with your other players.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're juggling 4 to, 8, for God forbid, some people. Like, at a table, they're not touching on every single one of your things. You're not the main character.
Yeah, it seems like very big case of main character syndrome.
It's a collaborative storytelling.
But, and on the opposite side, we also don't know if maybe the dad has been trying to do that. It doesn't seem like he has.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you're in a similar situation, think to myself.
But he must have been bringing it up enough for the DM to be like, okay, in this next arc, I'm going to make it a big thing.
Yeah. But, like, if you feel like you're in a situation like this and the GM's not giving your character a shot, think about, have you been taking the steps to go forward and, like, with NPCs or with other player characters, bring your character's arc out, like, draw attention to it. Because if you do, just talking, like, between other players will give your GM ideas for what to do in the next arc.
It's true.
And this is the part that I would be pissed if I was this other player we're about to mention.
Oh.
Then the very next session, the party is worn and ragged. Everyone is out of resources, and the party comes to the party's barbarian tribe from which he was exiled from. You mean to tell me there's a god of rage and wrath?
And he didn't go for the barbarian.
And he didn't go for the barbarian?
Well, sometimes people play barbarians as really, like, calculated rage. Like, I did that. I the only melee class that I really like is a wild magic barbarian, and I did that where it was very like calculated, and my barbarian was very very smart. She was a princess, and like this whole thing was like a weird kind of curse thing that I did with her, but like you can do the barbarian rage in so many different ways.
You can.
So like maybe they're like a pacifist.
Maybe.
Because like they said they got exiled from their thing, right?
Maybe they got exiled from the tribe for being too chill.
Yeah, maybe.
Which I go against great too with barbarians. Like as you guys know, barbarians one of my two favorite classes, and I play a lot of intelligent barbarians. I typically have them be low wisdom, high intelligence, which is it's more fun for me. I like being a really smart, really buff dude in D&D. It's a lot of fun. Unless I'm multiclass in the monk, then I have to have wisdom. Yeah. Unfortunately.
I love a wisdom character.
It was going to be a roleplay heavy session with chances for the disgraced barbarian earning back his honor.
Okay.
A very heavy and character-centered plot point for one of the other players. Okay, so it seems like this barbarian character already had a lot of other stuff going on, so that makes sense.
Okay.
The party watches on or occupies themselves in different ways while the barbarian has his moment, but then my dad's rage finally breaks out. When I say rage, I mean a tantrum. He starts going off in character about how he is tired and was hurt and nearly possessed by an evil god. One of the other players in character essentially tries to babysit him, telling him to calm down while the barbarian is having his moment, but that falls on deaf ears. Oh. My dad says his character starts attacking the members of the tribe, a ton of Goliaths. You're a gnome!
Also, that feels dangerously close to PvP.
Yeah.
Like, that feels dangerously close to PvP and taking somebody else's moment.
This also doesn't seem like a table that is cool with PvP, because some tables are cool with PvP, and if that's your table,
for sure,
more power to you.
But if you haven't had that conversation, don't do it.
I allow PvPs. There's like enough reason,
yeah,
but like it has to be like a really good reason. In this situation, I would look at it and be like, "No, you don't. Sit down. Your character says nothing."
Yeah, like
I'm like, "You're done talking."
Yeah, like you don't get to do that. That's the moment that you wish you have like a wizard with banishment, like in your party,
or just like have someone like
silence or
old
person silence something. I did that in my campaign as a bard. I used to silence one of our other characters because they would get us into trouble. I did talk to the player beforehand before doing it.
And that's the thing. A lot of these D&D horror stories are always going to be communicate. Like, that's something I learned early on. Like, there's been times as a GM that I haven't communicated properly with my players, and it has led to situations that go bad.
Yeah.
I've learned from those mistakes. I think that happens to everybody in D&D.
Yeah.
Miscommunication leads to a bad time.
For sure.
And I just essentially have them restrain him as he continues to talk smack and complain about how he just wants to go to bed.
What?
The barbarian feels the need to redirect his attention and beg for forgiveness for his party member. Yeah. Ultimately, we got him to settle down, but my God.
Maybe your dad just has anger issues.
Yeah, that sounds like you need to get your dad.
It sounds like your dad actually has anger issues and wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How
old is this man?
We don't know if this, like, because we know the first brother is, like, married.
Yeah.
But this brother, Jim, now could be a late teenager.
Yeah, if he's living in the same house.
And depending on how old he was when he had him, the dad could be, like, early 40s.
Yeah.
Or he could be, like, 65.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Ultimately, we got him to settle down. But my God, there was no fun for anyone but maybe my dad. The scene was able to be saved, but I was just in shock at either how little ability he had to read the room or how rude he was choosing to be on purpose. The last session we had, we essentially called him out for his immature actions. I know I need to talk to him about it above table, but I'm trying to put the words together. It doesn't help that this is my dad, and a fairly emotional, intelligent person when he isn't playing D&D.
Interesting.
I think this is a case of he got really excited about role-playing. He got really into role-playing this specific aspect of the character.
For sure.
But I think when the conversation happened about the rage, like after the God moment, the dad took that conversation as, oh, I need to go back on what I just said and be more rage-fueled.
Yeah.
And the son was like, okay, I'm going to tone down the rage aspect. So no clear communication was had. I will say, for sure, the dad is way more in the wrong.
Yeah.
The OP definitely needed to handle that better as a GM, but he is a new GM.
Yeah.
And it can be awkward, especially when it's family.
Yeah.
Like, that's his dad.
That is hard to be like, no, that's not how that works. It's like, I don't know. I feel like all of that comes down to like an overly excited, I would say new player, but like if this campaign has already gone on for a year, how long did the last one go on?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Like how long did the last one go on that you also played in and you should have learned from, and we just
and that's
haven't?
another thing, like about the new GM thing I was just talking about. That's something that adds context. He's been GMing for a year now.
He has.
He's no longer a new GM.
It's probably that the rest of the party doesn't give him the same issues, and so he hasn't really had to tackle it with anyone other than his dad. And we've all been at the table where there's one person that's a lot, or metagaming, or and sometimes it's harder when it's your parents, but sometimes the table isn't right for you. And sometimes that's just true.
Sometimes you really have to just like straight up like this game isn't for me. But I'm not talking to OP anymore because that's his dad, and if he kicks his dad from the game, that's going to start a whole lot of problems in real life.
For sure. But it might end up, unfortunately, if this compounds on itself, like being where the OP is like, okay, I don't want to DM. I don't want to DM anymore. Like, I don't want to be in charge of this anymore. And that sucks for his brother who is finally getting to play, right? Like, there are so many times where like a difficult player can really make it to where people don't want to be in charge of the game anymore.
Now for our final horror story of the day. DM keeps changing his mind about my character.
Okay.
This could be either kind of harmless or very, very, very bad, depending on like what it is.
Yeah.
Because imagine if I would just like with your character was like, oh, so Marilyn's not gonna be with the Veil Jumpers anymore. They kicked her out, and now she's gonna have to work for Solus.
Yeah. Changing your character is a very personal conversation.
Yeah, that's something like you definitely have to talk to the player about and make sure they're okay with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of DMs get on this like power trip of like, oh, I can just do things, and they're gonna love it because it's a twist. Hey guys,
discuss those.
Talk with your players, because half the times your twists aren't actually good twists. They're just gonna piss off the party.
True.
Or at the very least, if everyone else at the table likes it except the player character it's happening to, it's bad.
It's like pranks.
Like,
unless the person you pranked is laughing, it's not a good prank.
Like, without spoilers, there was an event that happened in season 1 of our Dragon Age campaign that I definitely talked with you about, like, as it was happening, and I was like, hey, if you do this, it'll lead to this. And you were like, I'm doing it anyway. And I was like, cool. But I talked to her about it, and she okayed it. And she was like, I don't know what I'm getting in for.
Yeah.
A lot of times DMs don't do that, and that's what leads to players getting upset.
And it just happens.
Yeah. And, like, the player, and especially if you don't give them, like, the warning up of, like, hey, something could happen if you do this.
Right.
But let's see what this is all about anyway. I've been a forever DM since I started playing D&D back in 2019. Ooh, a young buck D&D player. I've been asking my players more recently if one of them would be up to trying to be a DM, even if it was for a one-shot, since I had a bunch of ideas for characters I would want to play.
Sure.
And I've never gotten the chance to since I have the DM curse.
I turn them into NPCs. Continue.
Me too. Or I put them in my novel I'm writing.
That's fair.
Which is... one of my players came to me and said one of his close family friends was a DM and had asked if he knew some people who wanted to start a campaign. Oh. I jumped at the idea of finally getting to play a game from a player perspective and he got me in contact with the DM, who said he'd be glad to have me. Okay. I asked him if he had any restrictions on character creation since he did not do session zeros. First red flag. Doesn't do session zeros, a veteran DM.
I like session zeros even if it's just to make sure that all the players at the table want to play the same game.
Exactly. Like, sometimes you even have to split session 0 up. Like, for our home game, we had to do 2 different session zeros because of scheduling. But I would still rather do that than not have one at all.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you need player safety tools. You need to make sure everyone's playing the game. You need to talk about, like you say, character restrictions and rules.
It's also, like, character choices and how to balance a party if you want to balance your party.
Yeah, because that's how you end up with a game with Oops All Barbarians or Oops All Bards.
Oops All Wizards.
Ooh, Oops All Bards.
I love that. I have played a game, a one-shot that was Oops All Bards.
I GM'd a game that was Oops All Barbarians, and it was a bunch of buff dudes from the gym I was going to at the time.
Yeah.
And they all raged at once, and they took their shirts off and started flexing, and I was like, I should film this.
We did an Oops All Bards once, and it was actually very fun. It was like Wes and me and Dankles and a bunch of people. It was very fun.
If you have the right players, Oops All Bards can be fun.
Oops All Bards is fun, especially when everybody's good at music, but different ways.
All right. He said he doesn't really have any, but he'd let me know upon making my character if something was wrong.
Okay. Interesting. Way to put that. Wrong.
Yeah.
Like you could have said, like, if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't fit in the game that we're going for, like, if it doesn't fit in my setting,
Yeah,
you know, like
if
maybe he
something's
doesn't.
wrong, if you fucked up, I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
like you know, because like I don't know, maybe he's like, yes, artificer's okay, but I hate steampunk. Like I don't know, but that's a weird way to phrase it. Continue.
Yeah.
Saying wrong.
I end up making a level 1 Fearbold Warlock.
Fun.
Write my backstory and send it to DM. He sent me a thumbs up emoji, so I figured everything would be okay. Anytime they send an emoji, they haven't read it yet. They just want you. That's them acknowledging that they got it.
Yeah, fair.
We arrived at the first session. Oh, and he didn't say anything until the first session. Okay,
Okay.
this is gonna go.
Okay.
We arrive at the first session. The DM has us describe our characters.
Okay.
When I tell everyone I'm a Fearbold, he interrupts me saying they don't exist in this world. Then why didn't you?
Okay, so he didn't read it.
Ah!
That's why
This
you have
DM's
to
gonna
tell
piss me off.
people what exists in your world. Because if you don't say that anything like something doesn't go, then we're gonna go off of like the D&D edition that we're using, and like fearbolgs exist.
See, that's one of the first things I said in session 0.
It's also kind of weird and like um it feels very like talked down, like almost like asserting your dominance in a weird way.
Like, oh, by the way, I know you're about to describe your character more in session 1.
And that doesn't
Fearbolgs don't fucking exist.
right, like okay, well then you didn't read the thing I sent you.
Yeah, and like one of the first things I bring up, depending on the setting we're in, is like what races are. Like in my homebrew world, it's like, hey,
did your thing turn off again?
Yeah, did yours?
No.
It's okay. I fucked
Mine's
loud.
fine.
There we go. You guys can probably hear me regardless. This one might just be low battery, but anyway, I'm loud, so it's fine. But this one thing is like, I always bring up like, okay, we're in my homebrew world. GIF and Loxodon don't really exist, so
Sure.
just don't do those. Don't do like anything from Spelljammer.
Well, and if you have ideas, you can always just be like, okay, does anything in your world fit this thing that I like? Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a really cool idea for this kind of character, but it needs to be this kind of like race.
And I
Is
gave
there
her
a thing?
race.
Like, is there a thing that matches very similarly to this?
Not knowing what to say, I sit there for a second before asking why he didn't say anything when I sent my character sheet and backstory.
Hell yeah.
He just shrugged and said he didn't pay too much attention to the race I chose
Whoa.
and would have to change it before we could start. That annoyed me a bit. A bit? I would be gone.
I would have been like, thank you so much for your time.
But it wasn't a huge deal in the moment because I was more embarrassed in the moment than anything.
Yeah, because that's what it felt like. Embarrassment.
Yeah. And being a Fearbold wasn't a game ender for me. I just thought they were cool. I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting
okay.
to have to make a sudden change to my character, especially change its race. So I didn't have a backup and ended up choosing an elf to make things quick. The rest of the session went all right. We leveled up to 3 during the first session.
Wow.
Well, I could start it too,
Yeah.
but who knows? I always start at level 3 anyway.
I think it's fun.
I overall enjoyed playing with everyone.
Okay.
3 days after our first session, I guess the DM decided to read my backstory. Mike's just dead, so I'm just going to talk loud. Said, read my backstory I wrote, and he messaged me saying it needed some changes to fit the world better.
Okay.
Why didn't you read it before session 1?
You should have. Or you should have been honest and been like, I didn't have time to read everybody's backstories.
You read it before session 1. He wanted my character to have a wife and child, since my character is older, presumably to kill them at some point to create drama for my character, since this campaign is more gritty.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all. I also don't like demanding that a character have certain members of family. What I always do is like, hey, if you want to give me some named NPCs in your backstory that I can use, go for it. If not, I will name some NPCs that existed in your backstory.
Yeah.
And when they show up, I'll be like, hey, you know this guy from back in your days as a hunter.
We were like a year and a half into Conundrum Company when I was on that streamed campaign that lasted like 2.5 years. And we were like a year and something in before we touched on like the sailing ship that she came from. And they specifically, like my DM then reached out over our break that we had over Christmas and was like, hey, give me whatever you want relative to this. We haven't expanded on this part of your backstory yet. Like, and then you can just add to it. But it feels very weird to demand that something be put in there.
I don't like when DM's saying, oh, my world is gritty. It's like, 9 times out of 10, that's just an excuse to do fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I have a darker world, like a dark fantasy world.
Sure.
But it's not like I don't do shit that people who say their campaigns are gritty. I feel like people are looking for an excuse to play Berserk or to do the stuff that nobody really likes in Berserk and Game of Thrones, except
Yeah.
weird people, and that's coming from a huge fan of both in D&D. And it's like, hey, D&D is not the place for that.
Sure.
If you want to do another system that's built around that,
Yeah.
fucking go for it. But that gives me like
Bad vibes.
a
Yeah.
thousand red flags just went up.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if this is the real reason or not, but I'm just speculating. I told him a family wouldn't make sense for my backstory given the reasons he chose to sign a pact in the first place, and that most importantly, I have no interest in role playing a relationship in D&D.
Okay. Fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That I was playing for the fantasy aspect and to have fun with friends.
Yeah.
He didn't really care about what I had said and told me I have to have a family anyway because it fits the campaign setting. How
does a family fit a campaign setting?
That is stupid as shit. He has one idea.
Also, as a child-free woman, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like I have kids, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna make like it's like, oh, your character's middle aged for his race. He needs to have kids. No, he doesn't.
Also, a middle-aged elf is like young.
Yeah, it's like
I don't. That just seems so like dumb. Like he wants to do some plot point down the road, and none of the other people that he has in his campaign have given themselves families, and he thinks he can change yours.
I didn't really reply to him after that. Between the first session making me change my race and not now trying to force my character to have a relationship with family,
Yeah.
I had a bad taste in my mouth, and in the moment decided I would probably not want to play the second session, but didn't tell the DM yet.
Fair.
Fast forward about a week, I got another message from the DM telling me he had another person that would be joining in the second session, and she wanted to play a warlock, and had the audacity to ask me to remake my character so there wouldn't be two of them in the party. Why does it matter if there's two warlocks in the party?
Also, as long like I could get no, I mean like either way, don't ask somebody to change your stuff. But I could get feeling like maybe you don't want them both to have the same patron. But
they
like
ask the new player. Then.
But like the new player then should be told, hey, we already have a patron. Like we already have a warlock with this patron. Is there like a different way that you want to look at this, or do you mind that somebody double dips? Like,
do you know what I think?
He wants to get with this girl,
and she wanted to play. And OP
and let me tell
is
you,
male,
this girl doesn't know.
Yeah, this girl doesn't know. This girl doesn't like him.
This girl doesn't know.
This guy seems like
this girl just wants to roll some dice.
Like he's got a trilby at the ready and is gonna do the anime glasses push.
My lady.
Every time someone said this guy, just picturing it's like okay, so you open the door?
Yeah, do you?
But with any of the male players, with a female player, it's like open the door. Of course you do.
My lady. Yeah.
Yes, nothing bad happens. But anyway, let's finish this.
Jesus.
The real icing on the cake is he wanted me to start back at level 1.
If you remade?
Yeah.
Since it would be a new character.
Since it would be a new character.
But that girl probably is not going to do that.
She's going to be level 3.
Yeah.
If I wasn't sure about leaving, this definitely was the final nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah.
I immediately replied and told him not to worry about it because I would be leaving the campaign indefinitely. I messaged a friend who got me in contact with the DM who was also in this campaign that I wouldn't be playing anymore. When he asked why, I told him about the backstory change and then wanted me to make a new character. He told me he wasn't surprised. Then why are you friends with this guy?
Oh, this is one of those things where it's like sometimes people don't have access to good DMs, so they just go with whoever they have.
But this isn't the case because that friend plays in OP's other game.
Sure, but so, true. They probably have one good DM, which is OP, and then OP wanted to play with someone, and he's like, well, the only other person that I know that DMs is this guy. I would have been honest about it. I would have been like, he's kind of bad. Like, ugh.
I guess maybe if you're desperate enough to be a player, but like, in my experience, like, for any forever GM who's actually a good GM, when they're desperate to play, if they come into a game like in this situation with a shitty GM, they're like, it's not worth playing if I have to do all this bullshit.
What a weird thing.
He told me he wasn't surprised because the GM made someone else change their character at least one other time before to someone else in a campaign when a girl he was dating wanted to try D&D. I'm not really looking for advice. I just want to vent.
Yeah,
fucking fair,
it's
dude.
Probably just, and this girl probably doesn't know that she's causing any problems because she's not causing problems. She probably was like, I want to play, and I think I want to be a warlock, and he doesn't want 2 warlocks at his table.
God. I need to tell a horror story now about a player and GM I had that this just reminded me of.
Oh?
The year is 2020.
Oh.
It is, or 2021. It is
Oh.
freshly post-COVID.
Oh.
We're hanging out
The
in
doors
person
are
again.
open.
And the one GM I've been able to play with, who I left his Pathfinder game because the reason I left is not a red flag on like why I left his D&D game, his Pathfinder game. It was just like he kept recycling plot lines from video games. He would play like or stuff he liked. Like one session we'd be in the SCP laboratory, and then but in a fantasy setting,
Okay.
and then the next, which was kind of
I mean,
fun
that
actually.
can be cool, yeah.
But then the very next session, we were in Resident Evil Village.
Okay.
Like literally, the scene with the rats at the beginning
Got it.
happened, and I was like, okay. And then we got into arena and had a big fight, and to put my character down because my character was pretty powerful, he made us fight a big, strong paladin, and I was like, and he was the champion of the arena, and then it was kind of funny. He was like, the champion, and then I went, what's his name? And he went, fucking Shrek, and I was like, okay. So the Pathfinder game was actually fun. It was just I left because it was like kind of creatively bankrupt, but it was just a little silly little Pathfinder game. So I invited him to play it at my D&T game I was running that had been going consistently, and my sister was playing in my game and had played in that Pathfinder game, so she was like, yeah, I like him just fine, whatever. And this game was me, 5 women, one other guy.
Okay.
And he joined being the 7th player.
Okay.
This guy tried to date every girl at the table. And
just
no
let me
shade,
let me play my silly little hobbies.
He was also like 34.
Oh, and everybody else was significantly younger.
Mm-hmm. And this was in 2020, so I even was only like 28, and I was this third, and then me and my best friend at the time, who was also at the table, he was the same age as me, and then all of the girls were a little younger, down to my sister being the youngest, who was 3 years younger than me at 25.
Yeah.
Guess who he pursued the hardest?
The youngest one?
My sister.
Yeah.
And it kept getting weirder and weirder, and he would and all of his characters were references to other media too. Okay. And then he knew my sister was afraid of spiders.
No.
Or clowns. So he made a character from the Rob Zombie movie, House of a Thousand Corpses. He made the clown guy, Captain Spaulding, as his character. Changed the name and didn't have the same backstory, but then when he came in, he was like, look at my character, and showed the face. Oh. Because what happened was his last character kept running off and trying to kill people. Because it's what his character would do.
I hate people like that.
So the party confronted him and fought him. He committed sewer slide.
Yeah.
And then made a big fit about how nobody likes him, how he's a terrible person, da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to start trying to guilt trip every girl at the table into liking him. But he would always try to, like make good things happen for the girl of the week he was interested in. And then you could tell, because after one of them rejected him, the next one he was into, he would do the same shit.
Let me play my silly little game.
And then it came to a head when one of the girls went out for coffee with him, or went out for a beer with him, thinking we're just friends. He tried to kiss her, and she pushed him off. And he immediately started cussing at her, calling her a bitch, and threw his drink at her. And then expected to still play D&D at our table.
Oh my god.
And then I saw, funniest thing later, I kicked him from the group, never heard from him again.
Sure.
And then I saw a post on a local looking for games group in Austin, which I was in, and it was a mom looking for someone to DM for her young teenage sons.
Oh, okay.
And he was the first one to reply. I was like, I'll DM for them. So I messaged this mom and was like,
hey,
are there going to be... And I was like, hey, this is what happened with that guy. And then he tried to get me kicked from the group. But every player from my table went and messaged the admins and was like, hey,
so this happened.
This guy sucks.
That sucks.
I've had so many problem players I can make D&D horror stories about, but fortunately, a couple of them were in my actual plays, like my original ones. So if I did that, people would know who I was talking about.
It's a dangerous game.
But this was a home game, so I just love how pretty much every problem I've had with a male presenting person in D&D is because the girl they like in D&D didn't like them back.
It's make-believe. Please let me play my silly little make-believe game without finding the horrors of the world.
Yeah, and it's like, unless, that's the thing with romance in D&D I want to get a little soapbox about. Don't do romance in D&D unless you are going to be able to separate your character from you as a person, or if you are in a relationship with that person in real life.
Yeah.
That is the 2 times it is okay. Because character bleed,
Compartmentalize.
yes, character bleed can be real bad. Experienced one of my campaigns where a player, and especially like if your partner's at the table and you're not romancing their character, you're romancing another, it gets fucking
Weird.
clear communication. As with all of these horror stories, the biggest problems are clear, except for the last one. That guy was just an asshole.
That guy was just.
But clear communication will solve most of your problems in D&D. And if somebody is just sucks,
kick him out.
kick them out. Leave their game. There's D&D everywhere, unless you live in like rural Alabama. I'm really sorry.
And then you can be online.
Yeah. Then you can go for looking for games groups online. And if you get in a group that you don't like, hey, guess what? Go back into Discord.
Yep.
Find a server. You can find people to play with.
You can get your friends that are all local to you to go online and play on Start Playing if you want to hire a DM.
Yeah, and also like if you're like got some acting chops and you maybe want to try it out, there's tons of people who are looking for people in their actual plays. Submit an audition form, like the open auditions happen all the time.
It's true.
Even with some of the biggest name creators, they have open auditions.
It's true.
So there's always options. Moral of the story is don't settle for bad D&D because I hate the mindset that bad D&D is better than no D&D because it's not.
It's not.
Because hey, Baldur's Gate 3 exists. Solasta exists.
Divinity 2, Original Sin.
Dragon Age exists.
True.
You can play D&D or D&D like things on your own if you really need to, but there's always someone who wants to play D&D.
It's true.
So you're gonna find people to play D&D with. Go on Facebook, go on Discord, do all the things. You can avoid these situations. That last guy was a dick, though.
He was.
He's just like.
It's
like
and also just a bad DM.
Yeah, like not paying attention to the player's backstory
at all.
Didn't know he was a furbolg until he showed up for session 1.
And like not even like before session, like mid game describing your character.
Yeah, like getting through like everyone showing up, hanging out, talking, chit chatting with each other, and then just like, oh hey, by the way, and it's like that's bad.
At least the OP called him out.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Messaged his other friend, but the other friend was like, "Oh yeah, he's done that before," and it's like,
start saying things. Start saying things when people are shitty.
Start saying things and go to Start Playing. If you
there you go. We're not sponsored.
We are not sponsored, but if you want to, sponsor Stop Playing. I'm gonna talk like this guy real quick. Sponsor Stop Playing games. I would love to be. I can't even do it.
That's so funny. My friend Alec had a character in one of our long shots online that spoke like that. And in retaliation, the next time I played with him, I would do the Ara Ara voice and the uwu. It was a time.
I am gonna be guest in one of my friend's actual plays, and I'm playing, and he's like, "Play silly goofy." So I'm playing this big burly Viking berserker. But dude, he just talks like he's from.
I love giving characters a funny little voice.
He's just like, so. What do you? And one of the player characters doesn't know how to swim, so he's like, "What do you mean? Only one way to test it. Threw him in the water."
Crazy.
And they were like, "No!" But I got consent. But it was like, but anyways, folks, that is our first round of D&D horror stories. Probably do some of my own. Parker will probably be back for others. We play D&D in my house every 2 weeks, so Parker's got a long drive. She might as well make some content while she's here.
It's true.
But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please go check out Parker's YouTube channel as well, and go subscribe over there. She makes some great stuff. A lot of like Renfair blogs and a lot of Magic the Gathering content right now.
Yes.
So if you like Magic, go check out Parker. I unfortunately don't play Magic, but that's also something you guys would like to see. We could do maybe.
I can teach you how to play
some Magic the Gathering content.
I can teach you how to play Commander.
But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one.